Hi guys, welcome back to At Home with Holly. My name's Holly. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. We've got a few inside projects and a few outside projects today. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be canning up some spaghetti sauce. So I've made lots of different versions of spaghetti sauce in the past. Some of them I liked, some of them I didn't. But I've been looking for the perfect spaghetti sauce that I don't have to add, sorry for the dishwasher noise, that I'm getting my jars ready right now, that I don't have to add lemon juice or citric acid to, so I won't be able to pressure can it, and it has to be safe and approved by an approved canning recipe. So I've been looking and I found one. I did a small batch of it and I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a fluke. So I made 2 small batches to make sure it wasn't just the tomatoes that I used that day or whatever that I really liked. So it's delicious, kid approved. And so we're going to make another big batch of it. So as my tomatoes have been coming in, I have been roasting them and running them through a sieve, like a strainer, and then freezing them, like measuring, like writing on the bag 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 11 pounds, whatever, and writing them on the bag because the recipe calls for 30 pounds of tomatoes. And so I've been saving it up. And we're going to do a 30-pound batch today. So I'm excited that you guys are here. We've also got some outside projects. I need to take the corn stalks that we saved and dried together and put them out in the front porch to decorate. So a little bit of inside, a little bit of outside. Hopefully we can get it all done. If not, I'll finish it tomorrow, but I'm excited. So as you guys can see, I've been collecting them as they ripen. I pull them off 5 pounds at a time, fill up 1 sheet basically, but I weigh them out and I roast them on a sheet pan. I can do that while I'm doing other stuff, while I'm working, and it can be just going in the background. So I've been doing that little by little, getting them ready in the freezer. We had an early, I don't want to call it a frost, but it was frost adjacent. It was 36 degrees, which is almost a frost. So if they are even the slightest bit blushing, I have been pulling the tomatoes in. There's still a lot more out there. I probably have another 40 pounds out there, and we've already made, barbecue sauce and tomato basil soup and all the things we're going to make. So this is all just fun spaghetti sauce, being able to play around with a few other recipes. So I've got my table ripening here, and as they ripen, I roast them, run them through a sieve, and then get them in the freezer in bags. So I've got, I think 3 bags plus a 5-pound, 1 sheet baking sheet in the oven right now. So we're going to get those roasted, run through the strainer, added to what we've already got and the other ingredients, and we're going to get started. So what you see here are 5 pounds of tomatoes that I weighed out. I cut them in half, put them on a roasting pan. I did take out the bags of frozen puree, and I wanted them to have a place where they could stand up and thaw. So I actually put them inside my 18-quart pan, which is what we're going to be cooking this in. And so since they were in there, I pulled out a little pan and I just started to soften up the onions and peppers. Once they were soft, I added a couple chunks of garlic to it, just so it can soften and get fragrant. And then the tomatoes were ready to come out of the oven. And a week or so ago, my neighbor was like, "Hey, I have all these jars. Do you want them?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll take them if you don't want them anymore." And when I went over there, he said, "I also have this strainer. Do you want it too?" And I said, "Yeah." And then my electric one broke. So I'm super grateful that I had this. And so it works the same as my electric one. You run it through, it brings out all of the pulp and spits out all of the seeds and skins on the other side, which I run through a couple times and end up with a beautiful puree. So my daughter likes a very smooth sauce. So I actually took this sheet pan's worth of tomatoes and added it to the bottom of the pot and actually used an immersion blender to make sure that the peppers and onions and garlic were nice and smooth. That's that right there at the bottom of the pot. Then I put our frozen bags in, let it start to cook down until it was all thawed. And I added in the oregano, parsley. Actually, I didn't do the parsley. I did oregano and basil. You can switch up the dried herbs. So I did oregano, basil, salt, pepper, and then I did a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. That's just to taste. It's just that I've made this a couple times now, so I know that that's all this one needs. And we are going to keep letting this cook. I'm going to let it cook down by at least 1/3, and then we'll see where we're at. You taste it, get it all canned up if it's thick enough and the way I like it. So I tasted it. It's delicious. I'm gonna bring it over here, start getting it into some jars. Here. Now, one of the main reasons that I love this recipe, and I did a small batch first, is I don't like when the added flavor of lemon juice or citric acid is in my spaghetti sauce. And I've made it for a lot of years now with it in there, and I've eaten it, it's okay, but I've been looking for one that didn't have that because I don't like it as acidic. So this recipe, if you follow the recipe and the proportions and the ratios, then it is safe to pressure can without the lemon juice, according to the food preservation website. What is that? The US, not USDA, but the food preservation website. So this is a approved recipe. So it's at this point in the canning process that I was looking at it and I was thinking, man, my last batch was a little thicker. Maybe it's just because it's hot. And I was trying to convince myself that, no, it's thick. So I was stirring around. I'm like, maybe I didn't mix it up enough, right? Here's the deal. I jarred up all of these jars and then I was like, you know what? I want a finished product that is absolutely perfect. Like when you pull it off the shelf, you are like, yes, I'm so glad I have this compared to the stuff I could have gotten at the grocery store. And I would have been happy to eat this, but I wouldn't have been excited to eat this. So I actually I put all of these in individual jars, and then I stared at them and I poured them all back into the pot and I remade them. I put them back on the pot and I let them cook down for another hour, and then it was a lot thicker, still tasty and delicious. I'm so happy with myself that I did that, because you want it to be the best product it can be. You go through all this work to grow it. Everything about this recipe besides the salt and the pepper was homegrown. The tomatoes, the onions, the peppers, the herbs that I dried, everything was homegrown. And I wanted to be able to have just such a fancy finished product at the end. So as annoyed as I was that I had to redo it, clean the jars and do all that stuff, I'm super happy with how it came out. Okay, you guys, I put it back on the stove for 30 minutes. Let it cook down even more. And I am super happy with the way it looks now. It was fine before, but now it's even thicker. And I actually have one less jar. So I'm happy with that. Get some lids on. I don't know how many will fit in the pressure canner, so I might have to do 2 rounds. I will have to see. I splattered some in there. Okay, friends, I'm in my garage. We are going to be moving some stuff because I have some stuff piled up in front of the corn. So we're going to be moving some of this stuff out of the way. And you know what? I'm going to grab some paper bags too. I think while I'm here, I've got all these sunflower heads that we collected. And I think I'm going to take a minute and put the seeds in some paper bags. But the plan is to move some of this stuff. A lot of these are empty. Move the stuff out of the way so that I can get to the corn stalks and we'll tie them up. I think we tied them. I'm going to get some supplies to see if we can attach them to my columns on my front porch. So I'm excited about that. But let me grab some paper bags and I'm going to get a big bowl and we'll put the sunflower seed heads. We'll get the seeds off the heads. Let me do that real quick. Okay, I've got my bags and bowl and a marker. I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of our way real quick. While I'm putting all of these things away, I wanted to let you guys know that in the time that it took for the pressure canner to can safely the jars of spaghetti sauce, let them cool down naturally, and let the machine do all its things, I was able to complete this project outside. And that is reason number 435 that I absolutely love my digital pressure canner, because I don't have to sit inside and babysit, and I'm able to do two things at once. So I'm going to put them in the box. And the rest of these will go along the fence line to feed the birds. I'm not sure how many times around I'm supposed to go, but I think I'm going to go 3. Because every once in a while we get a windstorm. Although these probably won't make it through any windstorms. But they actually do look cute. Okay, let's take a look from the front. Okay, I think we love it. I think it looks good. Okay, love that. Love that. Now I can take the sunflowers to the fence line. A little windy, but we're gonna get it done. Taking it to the fence line for the birds. My hope in spreading these half-spent heads here is that this is that 1 foot like line along my fence line that's a wildflower slash sunflower patch. So I'm totally okay with the birds eating these and dropping a few and hopefully getting even more volunteer sunflowers. So this is where I put all the flower heads when I'm done with them, or anything that has seeds in it as well that I want to replant themselves. We got it all done. I thank you guys so much for the likes and the comments and the shares. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We have a whole lot more growing and building and fun things to do. So can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye, my friend.